So, what you up to?
Ooh, they're setting me up on a date.
A date? With a dude?
Emma, what's up?
Man, they setting Sinclair up on a date.
With a dude?
Is everybody all right? What happened?
I just saw Khadijah naked. I'm devastated.
What does that mean?
We're through. It's over. Don't want you. Bye-bye.
I was surprised that, and I never thought about it, but you ultimately left the show prematurely.
No, I got fired. It wasn't that I got fired. It was the way it was done.
Remember living single?
I dated a married woman once.
Really?
No, I'm just lying, trying to get attention again.
Better yet, how many fans out there are still vibing with the show?
You know, you have your wigs to cover your head, and I have night school to fill mine, all right?
If you're anything like the rest of us with a Hulu subscription, or maybe you're borrowing a friend's password, chances are you've been indulging in living single marathons. That show was gold, right? It was part of Fox's iconic lineup alongside Martin in New York Undercover.
Martin, yeah, we had the power lineup. We had Martin and then us.
Talk about a black TV trifecta. Now, while we hold all these shows close to our hearts, watching them as adults hits a little different. You start picking up on things you might have missed back in the day. When it comes to living single, it's clear that the magic was strongest in the first and second seasons.
Remember how we used to give fake names to the guys who would try to talk to us? I was Dominique, right?
Ooh, tonight I'll be Shaquan.
Those episodes, pure 90s black rom-com vibes. The kind we all fell in love with. The next two seasons, they were cool, but let's be real, they didn't quite hit the same. So let's talk about it, because I know you noticed it too. The moment that beloved character was booted from living single, the show was never quite the same.
Become kind of the spokesman for the rest of the cast to go with issues. Your role is secured and you have no issues or whatever else, but then you find out that you got fired.
Yeah. It had been written that I was going to London. So I asked some people, the writers, I said, so are you all getting ready to fire me? I just need to know so I can tie up some things and, have my life straight. And then, no, we'll never break up the group. We'll never fire. No, we wouldn't do that. We wouldn't do that. And then I'm watching the episode when I'm leaving to go to London. And not even 5 minutes later, my phone rings. It's my lawyer calling me to tell me that they're not bringing me back next year.
In that last season, what on earth was going on there? It was like watching a slow-motion train wreck. Unsettling, bizarre, and at times, downright terrible. Let's break it down. First off, who the heck is Trip? I mean, he seemed like a nice enough guy, but seriously, you're gonna introduce a brand new character in the 5th season? We're way past the point of wanting to meet new folks. Trip, take a seat. Then, as if things weren't already spiraling, Kyle Barker, the suave, smooth-talking heart of the show, decides to hightail it to London in the 2nd episode.
That season I was at home, and I asked them in the episode, they were sending me off to London. And I said, so are you getting ready to fire me? I just need to know so I can line up my stuff and so I can be prepared. They're like, no, we never break up the group.
Look, I wasn't exactly tuning in for his singing, but come on. Kyle was too vital to just up and disappear like that.
I heard a rumor, which I think could be true, but Living Single was a jumping off point for another huge sitcom on NBC, right?
Yes, Friends.
Wow.
It was interesting because when Living Single came out, shortly thereafter, Warren Littlefield, who was president of NBC, they asked him if he could have any show on television, and he said Living Single. It was in the newspaper, and the next thing you know, here comes Friends, which was an amazing show, and they did a great job with it. So, I mean, if you're gonna rock it, that's the way to do it.
And don't even get me started on the recycled storylines. Khadijah dating yet another basketball player?
Who you getting ready to live with?
Live with.
Live with.
Then why am I trying to move here to be with you?
I'm kind of thirsty. Y'all want some soda?
Really? Did we forget how much of a hot mess her thing with Grant Hill was back in season 2? Girl, how do you still not have this down? Then there's the whole Sinclair dressing up as a man episode. Why? Just why? But the real kicker, the other Kim, the iconic Kim Fields,
she don't care nothing about Charles. She is using him. She always wants what I have.
Like what?
Make a list. Start with these.
didn't even make it to the darn finale. She finally snags a rich man and is so head over heels that she can't even bother to say goodbye? We didn't deserve that kind of betrayal. And don't get me started on that finale episode. We got Kyle Barker back, sure, but as a sperm donor for Maxine?
Oh, that's my profile of sperm donor 432. My man in a can.
Really? This wasn't just a disappointing season. It was a chaotic mess. And let's be real, we're still not over it, and rightfully so.
#1 black show when we went off the air. They took us off. We didn't even finish the last season. They took us off like around Christmas or something, halfway through. And then they ran our repeats, and our repeats were still #1 for the rest of the year. Nobody even, people just tuned in.
But hold up, don't go anywhere just yet, because we still got some low-down, dirty, behind-the-scenes drama that'll have you clutching your pearls. Trust me, what went down when the camera stopped rolling is even more shocking than some of the wildest plot twists.
I wanted to know what soundstage you guys were on, because they now mark off like Ozzie and Harriet and da-da-da and da-da-da and Friends and da-da-da. And I wanted to know where the Living Single one was. But
we weren't there. We were on the ghetto lot. And they had all the big shows, or all the shows with white casts, on the big lot. And we were on the ranch lot. We didn't have air conditioning. We staged a walkout because we didn't have craft service.
Did Warner Brothers have a master plan when they borrowed the essence of Living Single to create the mega hit Friends? Well, depending on who you ask, it might just seem that way. Picture a head-to-head battle of sitcom supremacy. 6 black folks versus 6 white folks. Each crew holed up in their respective apartments, plotting the next laugh. John Henton and the Living Single cast were seriously ticked off when Friends was scheduled to air in the same time slot.
No, we were on first. We had did a year. We did our first season. Right. And then Friends came that following season. The following year, they moved us to Thursday night. But they moved us to Thursday night at 8:30 up against Friends. So now you got Living Single, the original Friends, up against.
Back in the day on August 22nd, 1993, Living Single burst onto our screens with an all-black cast that was nothing short of revolutionary. It was the show you couldn't miss, capturing the hearts of young black viewers who found its stories not just entertaining, but oh so relatable. The cast dived into issues that were real, raw, and untamed, exactly what the audience craved. This show didn't just sit pretty in the TV guide, it dominated the ratings, staying in the top 5 for African American audiences throughout its entire 5-season run. Now, fast forward a bit, and along comes Friends.
Before you guys go, can I just ask you a question? Yeah. When a guy breaks up with his girlfriend, what is an appropriate amount of time to wait before you make a move?
Oh, I'd say about a month.
Really? I'd say 3 to 4.
Half hour.
Oh, you've heard of it? Of course you have. Debuting a year later with a splash on September 22nd, 1994, it brought its all-white, star-studded cast into our living rooms. Names like Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, and Matthew Perry became household favorites. And let's not forget, this show stretched out for 10 seasons and a whopping 236 episodes. So, was it a case of imitation as the sincerest form of flattery, or a strategic move by Warner Brothers?
Get mad, because you're not getting any credit for it. And people talk about, oh, what a great show that was, and it was like it was based on ours. We don't get that type of credit. So it's kind of flattering. I mean, because TV, like you had Jackie Gleason back in the day. You had Jackie Gleason. That's that turned into the Flintstones. It's fun, but you acknowledged it. For us, we got no acknowledgement. That's the thing that bothered me the most. But it was just too similar. It was 6 of us and 6 black folks in New York City versus 6 white folks in New York City. Same apartment. It was just like, and they'll say, oh, that was the most creative show in the world, and they don't give us that kind of love.
Right out of the gate, the 90s served up a juicy sitcom showdown that was anything but fair. Friends and Living Single found themselves in a tug-of-war for viewers that were skewed from the start. As Friends skyrocketed in popularity, NBC pumped it full of promotions, plastering every imaginable piece of merchandise from cups to calendars all over New York City gift shops. Meanwhile, Living Single, virtually invisible in the merchandising world. left by Fox to wither away from the spotlight.
Come on, man.
Well, tell me the specific differences that you saw.
Friends worked on the big lot, so they got access to all the amenities that were on the big lot. At the end of it, they were making $100,000 an episode. Or no, $1 million an episode, something like that. We didn't approach, at least I never approached any of those numbers.
But here's where the drama really heats up. Fox, in a bold and brazen move, shifted Living Single from its cozy Sunday evening slot to a cutthroat Thursday night face-off directly against Friends. Talk about a setup. Viewers were forced to pick a side, catapulting Friends into a cultural phenomenon that's still binged today, while Living Single tragically met its end after just 5 seasons. And if you thought that was scandalous, T.C. Carson, who brought Kyle Barker to life, claims he was canned from Living Single after he dared to call out Warner Brothers for sidelining their show in favor of Friends. In a revealing interview, Carson didn't hold back about the drama brewing behind the scenes. So, Carson was like the unofficial spokesperson for the crew, always stepping up when things got tense with the producers. He'd be the one to say, "Okay, y'all, we need to talk," whenever they had to tackle some drama on set.
And I won't say a lot, but there were times when we had issues on the show, and we would come to them as a cast, but I would be the spokesperson for it. And so that last season before I left, and they basically said, well, you know, all these problems that, you know, we've been having, they listen to you. You're the person they listen to. So if you said something else, then they would do that. And I kind of looked at them, I said, well, first of all, we're dealing with 5 grown people, and they have their own mindset and their own ideas about what we're doing. And everything we come to you with is a group decision, not my decision. But if you think I have that much power, then I need to have a different job.
Carson spilled that he got the boot from the series because the studio couldn't handle the cast calling out what was really going down. He didn't mince words either. Look, even today, if you're African American, you're expected to zip it and just do your job. No questions, no fuss. Just be grateful you're employed. Harsh, right? But that's the truth he's laying down.
The different issues. You know, sometimes it was script, the way we were being treated. It was just various things that happened through the course of the seasons.
Yeah.
You know, and when we had issues, we talked to them about it. Even now, if you're African American, you shut your mouth and do the job.
Yeah.
Don't ask questions. Be happy that you got a job. And my whole time on Living Single, I was happy I had a job, but I understood the importance of the job I had. I understood the importance of what these characters meant to my community. And so when I come to you with a problem, it's because of that, not because of ego. And they looked at it as ego.
Let's be real, Living Single might not have lasted as long as Friends, but its impact, absolutely massive.
Did something that wasn't on TV.
We're talking about a show that set the blueprint for so many others to follow, and yet it often gets overlooked. But here's the thing, Living Single deserves all the credit, especially since Black creators too often don't get the recognition they deserve. It's a tale as old as time. Brilliant ideas coming from Black creators, only to be snatched up and repackaged by their white counterparts. Not today, though. We're giving Living Single its flowers. The show didn't just entertain, it made a statement. Living Single was all about Black excellence, throwing shade at tired stereotypes and showing that Black people could be anything they wanted. Stockbroker, attorney, magazine editor, you name it. Khadijah and Max, 2 besties who met at the illustrious Howard University, a historically Black college and university, mind you, were at the center of this powerful narrative. The show was more than just laughs. It was about representation, pure and simple. Erica Alexander, who played Max, dropped some wisdom in an interview with Blavity, Inc. She pointed out how crucial this representation was, saying, "Representation matters. There are people who have come up to me who are in positions of power, whether they are politicians or lawyers, that saw Max and Kyle and Khadijah and saw themselves in those positions." Living Single wasn't just a TV show. It was a cultural movement that showed a generation what Black excellence looks like. They're the kind of folks you'd actually want to hang out with. Down to earth, hilarious, and just vibing on the show. Now, let's get one thing straight. Yeah, they tackle racial issues, but they're not drowning in the tired old stereotypes that usually get slapped onto Black characters on TV. You know, the ones where every scene feels like a heavy-handed lesson in struggle. Nah, these characters are living their lives, accurately reflecting the Black community without turning their identities into a never-ending pity party. As Kim Coles brilliantly put it in her chat with Entertainment Tonight, we had a brother rocking his locks on Wall Street and a woman hustling to start her own magazine. It was powerful then, and it's still powerful now. Preach, Kim, preach. But let's address the elephant in the room. Friends. It's frustrating to see how Living Single got sidelined. But can we put all the blame on Friends? Not entirely. NBC knew what they were doing. They scooped up a crew of actors who had undeniable chemistry and comedic chops to keep the laughs rolling. But here's where it gets juicy. Does that mean Living Single should be left collecting dust? A tragic casualty of Hollywood's shady treatment of Black creators? Hell no. Media lives on forever, baby, and anyone can access it now. Sure, Friends might be the go-to comfort watch for millions, but Living Single deserves to shine just as bright. It's high time people woke up to the fact that Living Single isn't just some footnote in TV history. It's the blueprint.